In this video, we're going to dive deep into room mics. A lot of people may think, well, our church isn't capturing for a live recording, so we don't need to utilize room mics. But the reality is that they can be very useful in many different contexts, whether you are broadcasting online like YouTube or Facebook, or even just to benefit your band through their in-ear monitors. Stick around in this video and we're gonna walk through everything from the type of hardware that we use to how we process them so you can make your room capture that much better this weekend. So first things first, let's talk about room mic placement, because the placement of your room mics actually largely affects what results you get out of them. Whether you want these to be just general crowd mics, picking up the voices in the crowd, or to capture the ambience of the room. So we've got two examples here that we're gonna listen to. First, we'll listen to just the console left-right mix, and then we'll add in the Neumann KU100. This is a binaural stereo microphone that's placed at front of house, right at head level. And then we've got just a stereo pair of large diaphragm condensers, and these are placed far left and right on the wings of the stage, pointed directly at the audience. All right, so let's talk about application. Now, those sound examples that we listened to, they sounded very different, and that's intentional. We have different purposes for these microphones. Now, you can use room mics for a lot of things. The most common things we use them for is for broadcast and in-ears. So broadcast, the intent behind that is trying to get the people that are listening online to feel like they are in the room. We like to place the room mics in the room where the crowd is to make them feel like they are a part of that crowd that's in the room. Now, in-ears, what we're trying to do is connect the audience to the people on stage and trying to give the people on stage a good reference for what's happening in the room. And so we have these large diaphragms on stage to help the band. They can hear the crowd clap, they can hear the crowd sing, and so it really helps to break that barrier between wearing isolated in-ears and being in this live room. So let's move into processing your room mics. And you might think, well, if room mics are intended to capture the sound of the room, then why do we need to alter their sound? The reality is that we should treat room mics just like any other source coming into our console. Different mics have different sonic characteristics, and we should shape those sounds to fit into what we're mixing with the rest of our band and vocals. So whenever we look at the room mics channel, the first thing at the top is gain, right? So we need to set the gain for our room mics, just like any other source on the console. What I like to do here is actually wait until we get into rehearsal when the PA is on, because the PA is gonna be the loudest thing in the room. Then what we can do is we can set our gains once the PA is going, once we've got it to our normal volume, to the gain structure that you set the rest of your instruments to. That could be -12, -15, -18, whatever the rest of your console is set to, you wanna follow that similar gain structure. And if you're unsure about where you need to set your gains, we'll include a link in the description below to teach you everything you need to know about gain structure. So moving down the channel strip, we're gonna start with our filter and EQ. And we're gonna be using the KU100 for this demo, but the same principles apply to any other mic or any other placement that you have in your room. So what I've done is I have flattened out all of the EQs and filters for the KU100, and we're just gonna listen to it raw to hear what we're getting straight from the preamp. So just listening to the KU100 straight off the preamp, we can hear that it's pretty boomy. It does a really great job of picking up low end, but that's not necessarily what we want from room mics. We've got sources like drums and bass to really fill in that low end information. So we're just gonna add a filter in to clean that up a bit. So I'm gonna go to our filter here, insert it, and I'm gonna take it (200 hertz), sounds good. So you can hear that already cleaned up a lot of that low end rumble that we were getting from the room mic originally. But I'm gonna go ahead and go to our EQ as well and just take out a little bit more of that low mids just to clean up some of that information there. We can even add a little bit of high-end sparkle here. And that'll really help with the claps here. So what we did was super minimal, just a filter around 200 hertz, a low mid cut around 360, and then a 9K boost about 4 dB to really get that sparkle on the room mic as people clap, as people sing, to really get that definition whenever it's in the context of a mix. And if this realm of EQ is a little bit mysterious to you, then check out the link in the description below to learn a little bit more about EQ. So let's move right down the channel strip to compression. What compression is gonna do is it's gonna take those low moments of our source and the high moments, and it's going to move them closer together. So this compressor on our room mics really acts as a glue to take those loud peaks and bring them closer to the quiet moments, so we're not constantly riding the level of our room mics in our mix. We've gone ahead and inserted the compressor into our room mic channel, and we're gonna go ahead and listen to it and adjust the threshold from there. And let's listen to it with it out. So we can hear a massive difference versus when the compressor is in versus out on our room mic channel. And if you're constantly chasing the level of your room mics, turning it up and down based on the dynamic of your song, compression can really help with that to again, take those high moments and those low moments and bring them closer together to create a more consistent signal. So closing thoughts, we only added filter, EQ, and compression whenever we were processing this room mic. We didn't talk about any other effects. This instance specifically, this room is treated with acoustic treatment. However, it's still pretty live, and I didn't feel a need to use something like reverb on these room mics. And oftentimes you probably won't. But if you've got a really dead room that doesn't really carry well, you can use reverb on your room mics to kind of add some width to that. Gates, we really don't want to use gates on room mics because it defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to accomplish. A gate is trying to cut out background noise from the source. With room mics, we're trying to add that ambient noise back to our mix. So really what it would do is just create a really weird cutting in and out effect to your mix, and that's not something that we really want. Compression, we did add compression to our room mics, but it's important to note that you can overdo it with compression. You heard whenever I first inserted it into the signal paths that it sounded a bit pumpy at first, and then I was able to adjust the parameters on the compressor to kind of smooth that out a bit. We had the KU100 binaural mic from Neumann, which is super nice. It sounds incredible, as you heard, but the reality is to get good sounding room mics, it doesn't take a whole lot. The room mics that we heard on stage, those were $200 room mics from Amazon, and they still sounded really good. They captured a good audience response. What it really comes down to is application, where you place them on stage and how you process them to either hit your broadcast stream or your in-ear mixes. I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to dive deeper into the realm of broadcast mixing, hit the link below to watch the complete guide to broadcast mixing available on MxU.